Hi guys, trust you're doing very well today. It's been a very nice ride from my end. And today's on is going to be how to configure sign-in frequency control using conditional access policy. So usually when users sign in, so what's even sign-in frequency? Okay, let's start from there. In M365, sign-in frequency refers to the time period before a user is required to sign in again when attempting to access resource, with the default setting being a rolling window of 90 days, meaning that a user may be asked to re-authenticate every 90 days based on their last sign-in activities. These settings can be managed through conditional access policy within the Microsoft Entra Admin Center. So the frequency of sign in sometimes can be very important, that you mandate your users to sign in more frequently. Let's say, for example, you have users that are working remotely and you don't want them to have their system unattended to, and because they were signed in, or something similar can prompt you to implement sign-in frequency that could even be on a daily basis. So just at the beginning of your shift, you sign in, and then by the end of your shift, even if you fail to sign out, once it is 24 hours from the last time you signed in, then you'll be signed out of the system, depending on what works for you. But the bottom line is, how do you configure this from conditional access policy? And that's what we want to do today. So I'll just take you to my lab environment right away. So I will start from beginning, just so in case this is my first video you are watching, you see how I start my settings. So I always go through cmd.ms. So if I go through cmd.ms in split of seconds, you see that Microsoft Cloud command line is up, and then the first link here is Microsoft Entra. So if I come to the Entra Admin Center here, so what I want to do is to come to protection, but I must quickly mention why this is loading, that before you can set these policies, you must make sure that you have disabled security default. And in one of the videos I made earlier, I have shown how to disable security defaults, which I am also going to put a link in this video description. So you click on protection to drop it down, and then the next thing you want to do is to click on conditional access. So looking at conditional access, what you want to do is to is to click on add. So I want to give you like a very nice convention, that so that when you check my environment, you will know what is happening. So I'll put CAP, which is conditional access policy, and I will say sign in frequency. So I want to do sign in frequency. So if I have a targeted targeted group of users that I want to implement this on, I can just go ahead and implement it on those users by clicking on this 0, and then what I would do is to come to all users, and then I will just leave it at this, right? So all the users in my environment are going to be re-authenticating after every 24, after the number of time I'm going to set based on the frequency when we get to the access control. So looking at this, right, so what I will just do is I will leave it at selected users, so that I don't have to stress my users so much from this lab that we're going to do. So I'm just going to click on users and groups, and what I would do next is to select lab rats. Lab rats is going through a lot in my hands, so I'm going to select lab rats, and if I bring up lab rats, I will do this. I will click on this. So the next thing is for me to say targeted resources. I want to target all of his 365 application. So I will just do so this is saying none, so I can say all resources, formerly known as all cloud apps. So I may want to do this just to make sure I close everything out. All applications going to get signed out. But if I want to select some particular application, I can come here to say only Microsoft 365 application alone. So I will just wait for this to load, and I will say office applications alone, right? So I will click on select. So that is me picking Office 365 applications alone, and then for the I will leave the condition, and then actually if you have to isolate some things regarding your IP, you can come here to configure that, but that's going to be like more complex than what I want to, and it's out of scope for me in this particular video. So I'll come here to session. I don't have anything to do here. I'm coming to session. The session control is actually the target of this particular policy. So I'll just come here. I will say, okay, now look at something here, sign in frequency. So if you come to sign in frequency, it's saying the time period before user is asked to sign in again, and just exactly what we read, that it's going to be 90 days. So I'm going to select this, and so what is there is I'm going to do it as 1. I can say 1, right? 1. And then what happens is that what in units here is going to be days. So what is here is I want this user to sign in every day. Like if he signs in 8 o'clock today, then by tomorrow 8 o'clock it should be asked to sign back in, because the account should be signed out. But let me just experiment on something by putting 1 and then maybe putting this one as hour. That's going to be too much. Like the user is going to be asked to sign in after every hour. I think that's not fair. So let's do a day, right? So you could also do 8 hours. Let's say the shift is an 8-hour shift. You can do 8 hours. I think that's nice as well, right? So that once the user is done, then it just signs the user out at the end of the shift. So that is what we are going to leave for that. So we can just click on select. So when we do select, the next thing we want to do is looking at this is saying, do you want it to just be on report only so that you can track like the audits, or do you want to turn it on? So if it was on and then you want to turn it off, you can turn it off, but I just want to hit on create. So this policy is created from what we have set. So this user is going to be asked to sign in after every 8 hours because we targeted the lab rat user. So this is how to set the frequency, the sign-in frequency in your environment. I hope you find this video useful. If you do, please give it a like, and if you've not subscribed to this channel yet, please hit on the subscribe button, because a lot will still be coming on. So you can turn on the notification bell as well, just so you know when more videos are coming out from my end. Thank you very much, and I hope you have a nice day. Peace.